My 30F friend, 32M, always wants to cook for everyone, but his cooking is really bad. About 6 months ago, I moved across the country to a new state where I have a lot of friends and family. I posted about my move on Facebook, and Michael, a Facebook friend, an acquaintance I had met once or twice through other friends, reached out to tell me he happened to be moving to the same city and asked if I would want to get together sometime. I agreed, and after we had both moved and settled, we met up. We became friendly and started hanging out semi-regularly. I have a lot of friends and family in this state, as I mentioned. Work also keeps me very busy, so I don't have a ton of free time. Michael moved here because he recently got a divorce. He has an old friend, 30M, who owns a house here who agreed to rent him a room. They also have a third roommate, 30M. Michael does not have a job, so he has a lot of free time and he is usually the one to initiate hangouts. So, Michael loves to cook. The very first time we got together, he came to my place and cooked dinner. The meal was okay, although it was dairy-based and I really don't eat dairy at all, so I felt pretty sick afterward. I was also pretty specific about a certain ingredient that I don't really like, but he was insistent that he needed to use it for the dish. Whatever. No biggie. However, as time went on, every time Michael would invite me to hang out, he wanted to cook. Either he wanted to come to my place and cook, or he wanted me to come over and he would cook for me and the roommates and their significant others. Each time I ate Michael's cooking, I began to think more and more that I really just could not stand it. The first time he cooked for me and his roommates, I noticed that everyone at the table was silent when eating, and no one else commented on the food until he would eagerly ask, "How is it?" and get some sort of lackluster praise. He did this at least 3 times during the meal. Probably the worst was the time no one could finish their plate and everyone made excuses for why they were just so full they couldn't finish the meal. After that incident, whenever Michael would invite me to hang out, I would try suggesting other activities. We live in a place that is full of fun, socially distanced outdoor activities, so I would frequently suggest those things. He would always decline and try to convince me to come to his place so that he could cook for us. He has told me that the thing that brings him the greatest joy is cooking for other people. Due to this, I kind of started to distance myself and just politely decline his invitations. Last night, I got a message from Michael that he had a huge falling out with his roommate and he was very upset. I texted with him for a while trying to calm him down and give him some advice about how to handle the situation. He was so upset that eventually I asked if he wanted to come over for a beer so that he could get out of the house and clear his head. He asked if I had already eaten, and I said that I had. It was almost 8 by that point, and he asked if he could come over tomorrow, today, instead. I said sure. He replied with, "Great, I'll stop at the store and cook dish for us." I told him, actually, I am on a diet and I couldn't eat that. But he was welcome to come over for drinks and some video games. He just kept pushing, asking about my diet and what I could eat, and finally suggested something that I would have no reason to say no to. This morning when I woke up, I was so dreading his meal that I texted him that I forgot I had made plans this evening. I told him I'd be home around 8, too late for dinner, and he was still welcome to come over then, or we could try for another night. I don't really know what to do about this guy. I feel bad because he hardly knows anyone here, and now it looks like he's on bad terms with his roommates, and I know he probably really needs a friend right now. But he's so insistent on feeding me every single time we get together. I think if I tell him that I can't stand his cooking, it will honestly be more hurtful than just fading out of his life. Update. February 10th, 2021. So my post didn't get a ton of attention, but I still felt like it deserved an update. After posting and thinking about things, I realized that it wasn't just about the cooking. I didn't want to hurt his feelings, but I really didn't care to be friends with Michael anymore. He never wanted to do anything I suggested, and that really bothered me. I felt like our entire friendship was just about me making time to do what he enjoyed, cooking for us, even though I got nothing out of it at all. After that, started to distance myself from Michael. I would put hours between answering his texts and politely decline any invites. I was also in an accident a few weeks ago, and I'm now on a medication that makes me very tired, so I have limited free time. Then, one night around midnight, I got a text from Michael saying that he was worried about me. When I asked why, he replied with, "You used to be my best friend, but now you just ignore me." There were a bunch of typos, so I could tell he had been drinking. I told him I had been busy, and also pointed out that I had actually invited him to do a lot of things with me, but he always turned down my invites. He acknowledged that was true, apologized, and said that in the future, if I asked him to do things I enjoy, he'd be sure to accept. 3 days later, he messaged me again asking when I was free to hang out. I replied with, "What do you have in mind?" I wanted to hear what he wanted to do before committing to hanging out. He kept pushing, just saying he'd like to see me and he'd be available anytime I was free. I finally gave him a time frame to which he replied he'd love to come over and cook for us. That was just the final straw, so I sent him the following message. "Hey, so to be honest, you're a nice person, but I'm not interested in hanging out tonight or at all. The time that we have spent together has made me realize that we don't actually have much in common, and when you weren't into any of the stuff I enjoy doing, I lost interest in the friendship. Combined with the fact that I still have so much pain from my accident, it just seems like too much effort. No hard feelings. I really do wish you the best." I blocked him after that. Maybe I'm a jerk for the way that I handled this situation, but life feels too short to waste so much time doing what other people want. I never advocate for myself and always end up in these types of draining, one-sided friendships, so I feel proud of what I said and relieved to be moving past this situation.